Look at the red zone scares, 3 of 5, and this is just this game alone. So 2 field goals, 1 touchdown, 2 stops. Obviously, one of the stops was the field goal, the fake field goal QB sneak with Noah Gray, and then the interception in the red zone. What do you guys? I mean, what are you seeing, JD, Teja? What are you guys seeing in the red zone? That's like, is the play calling? Is it just a lack of trust? Is it? And also another thing too, it seems like we abandoned the run in the red zone last night as well. Once we got down closer, it was like we won't even run the ball anymore. What do you see as the problem as far as fixing the red zone woes? Because that was in the press conference after the game. They asked Mahomes about it, and Mahomes said, like, look, like if we convert touchdowns instead of field goals, we're not even talking about this right now. But we have things to figure out. Yeah. And the good thing for me was hearing him talk. He's confident in the offense, but he just says we need to fix some things in the red zone, and that's pretty much it. We score touchdowns, not field goals. We're not even talking about the red zone woes right now. But what do you see as the problem as far as the red zone woes?
So I see it is a little bit of the play calling, the choice, because I was looking at some of the routes for sure. I'm always thinking about running the football. I'm always run first when you get down near the goal line. And that's what you should do. And the thing is, because if you try to be aggressive, Pacheco's been, he runs hard. The guys love pushing up front. It opens up play action for you, right? And so I think those things, they have to do a better job choosing some of the plays. And then now, when I was looking at it, I went back and looked at over all the red zone plays, some of the pass routes. There's some things that Patrick is just missing. Let me just be honest. He's missing some passes. He's looking for Kelsey. He's looking for places, to get right in the red zone, get a touchdown. But sometimes in those moments, we should just take what the defense is giving him and let guys make plays. And I don't think he's giving them opportunities to actually make plays. And I think it's just part of the trust. I think it is where he has to trust the guys to try to make plays. And so I think it's a little bit of all those things. It's a combination right now of all those things happening, why it all looks bad, right? There's no reason to make all those trips down to the red zone and comes up and seeing Harrison Butker, trot out there. Dick Vermeil would lose his mind. He would lose his marbles for the simple fact that you had to bring a kicker out there to, kick all the field goals, really. And I think also, too, this is me, I think sometimes if you lack confidence, and I think sometimes what it is, fourth and, 1 or 2, then you got to go for it. Especially the first time we went down, they ain't go for it, right? Listen, I said, when you bring these guys in, you have to be aggressive. Put your foot on their neck as soon as they walk into the stadium. And that sets the tone for the game. It really sets the tone for the game. Our defense has been playing lights out, so I don't worry about those things, man. Our offense just got to get those things together.
So I was deep diving a lot of our red zone possessions, and generally here are some things that just stuck out to me statistically. So we're 54% in the red zone for TDs, which is good for 17th in the league. We were 71% last year, just to give you a little comp. We were second last year to Dallas, which is funny because Dak and Mahomes are also ranked near each other in this next stat, which is Mahomes is 51% in the red zone, which is good enough for 23rd overall. Yards per attempt were 15th overall. Pacheco's getting 89% of the carries. He's 17 for 51, which is 3 yards a carry, which is under his just regular yards per carry. So that's our run game's got to pick it up a little bit and get him more yards. Maybe that's why we're trying to get our passing game going. The biggest thing that caught me with the running backs are McKinnon only has 1 carry in the red zone. He's got 2 catches in the red zone, both for touchdowns. So McKinnon, I think, has got to get more usage. He's getting him and Pacheco are almost splitting red zone downs, but he just needs to get more usage. He needs to get the ball in his hands more. Rice is obviously our best yak receiver. He's also our leading red zone receiver, right? So he has the most red zone targets of our receivers. He's also tied with Kelsey for red zone catches. He's got more red zone yards than Kelsey and has 2 TDs to Kelsey's 3. The other receivers haven't really done much. And that's come with a huge snap count. So MVS Sky and Justin Watson lead our receivers by a pretty decent margin in red zone snaps. I think that has to change. I think that has to be overhauled. If Ross is going to be more involved in general, I think he needs to start in the red zone. Play to his strengths. He's a big body. You can get up there, the high catch point. He's got one target in the red zone. When you're having such red zone problems as we are, try different things, right? And this is kind of why I'm not all in on the whole we're broken and we need to invest and trade for a number one receiver. I like to look internally to fix our problems before you go externally for those, right? So we're 7th in total yards and 17th in red zone. So get Kelsey, Rice, Ross, Tony, and McKinnon the ball to get most of our targets, and then everyone else. And then let's see what happens. If we're still having problems after changing things internally, then yeah, go ahead and see what you can do on the open market.
Let me say something on that. So what you need to do, I think, is very effective, is running a lot more crossing plays, a lot more pick plays is very effective. We do a great job of doing that. I think we got kind of get away from those things, bringing guys in motion, and then kind of setting guys up in spacing. Another thing in the run game we could do is do a lot of counter, a lot of kick out blocks, and we're not doing that. Putting somebody in the backfield, maybe a guy in motion actually lead up in as the lead blocker. And we just got to be a much better job at that. And what you do is you usually put that on the tight ends to do those things. And so we got to trust our tight ends. Those guys go out there and block as well. So it's the little things. I heard Patrick say that last night. It's the little things. And I think down in the red zone, you had to be very detailed, especially trying to get the ball in the red zone, okay, or at least in the end zone. So I think those things you definitely have to do. The raw situation, it's one thing to bring him in and package, but I think you have to get him. You got to get him out there in the field first before you just bring him in like as a gimmick play, because then teams will start keying on him. Like, look, they bring this guy in specifically to throw him the football, right? And nobody, defensive coordinators are not stupid. They just know if they got a guy out there, but he's trying to warm up because now all of a sudden you hadn't played and all of a sudden you get down to the red zone, we're trying to throw the ball to you. I mean, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Like I said, you got to get him going early if that's going to be the case. So I agree with you, because we have to explore some of these younger guys, maybe getting in there. But when I went down and I'm telling you, when I looked at some of the routes that they were running down in the red zone, I don't think it's where guys not getting open. I think some of the calls, what you look at, is just kind of suspect for me, because there's a lot of there's a lot of basic routes. There's a lot of shallow routes. And there's a lot of just on the sideline routes that you could kind of throw and hope guys make plays. But you got to give them a chance. And I think that's what I was talking about earlier. PM15 has to give these guys a chance. The one that he threw the interception, Sky Moore runs an arrow route. He could throw it right there to Sky Moore. He could turn up and try to get the first down. He could have done that. He actually had Travis Kelce run toward the middle, which actually made two safeties come toward him, and the basic was open behind him, and that was a window. But Pat missed that too. So I think, man, like I said before, there's a lot of different things, the little things, the details that they got to just help out. And I think a lot of that goes into the coaching, it goes into the players, and it's got to go definitely into the OC with the play calling.
I also read that on that sack that Mahomes took late in the game, I read that Rice was open on that play.
Man, yeah.
I didn't see. I just read that. I want to go back and look at it, but I don't doubt it. But
see, what I'm hating, and I think we all starting to sing along with this whole narrative that the wide receivers are not getting open. Oh, they're not open. They're not open, and because Kelsey gets the lion's share of the catches, and he's out there running some of his own routes. Right, he's getting open, and he's doing a great job of it. We're almost trying to get the young receivers to be where Kelsey is, okay? And Kelsey and Patrick played together for a long time. They know each other. And so we're trying to get them up to speed of just understanding those things, right? I mean, that's the complex of it. So we're talking about somebody who has a PhD in football, the guys who are just now getting, into the university, try to understand things, right? So somebody actually said over here, and I agree with it. I think I addressed this last night too. And it says BFAB92. Do you think Travis choosing to do some of the option routes is not helping the offense develop. I said that last night. I said that sometimes what ends up happening is you'll see 3 guys in the same area, and that should never happen on a football field, especially offensively, because you clutter that area up, right? It makes a very hard throw for the quarterback to give him like a really clear window, exactly who he's throwing the ball to. And I know sometimes some of the guys that are clearing things out, you kind of run like a triangle offense where you are clearing out everything underneath. Travis is roaming the middle, which he does a great job with. And I think they kind of set it up that way. But I think we start piling on that the narrative that these guys may not be open. And it's just when I go back and I start looking at some things, some of that's just not true. Some of the things Patrick is just missing these guys on the plays. He's just missing it. And what you could do is you could be so dependent upon Kelsey, right? And I think that's where Patrick is. He's so dependent upon him. They play so well together that he doesn't really give the other guys a shot. His other receiver now, Rashid Rice, because Rashid is eating, he's trusting him and throwing the football. And I think it's better on the inside in the big plays because Patrick gets a little bit of, I don't want to say greedy. He just wants more, right? He loves the big plays. Everybody loves seeing the big plays.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's pretty par for the course for any quarterback. He's nobody different. I just think the little drop-offs, 5 yards and stuff doesn't look sexy enough.
At least he's not throwing picks in the red zone.
Yeah, he did last night, but yeah.
He did last time. What are you talking about?
No, just overall for the season. I mean,
right. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, what is he, like 9 and 10-1 ratio, I think?
Yeah.
In the red zone, something like that.
Yeah. I do want to say, JD, so like, I know you said like not giving Justin Ross any reps and all of a sudden you bring him in the red zone. Even if it is like something that it's going to, defensive coordinators are still going to focus on him. Like, oh man, you got a jump ball threat in there. Whereas right now we have a guy like MVS who's not even getting, he's getting 1 target, or Sky Moore who's in there is not getting a target. Even utilizing Justin Ross, even if we're not throwing the ball to him in the red zone, isn't that kind of bring out something though? It's better than, having guys you're not even throwing to. At least you have a guy who's more of a jump ball threat. You can get through to him, like kind of acting as a decoy.
Yeah.
You can do that, right? But he's still, defense is still like this guy still needs to show what he can do, right? He's just another guy to him because he's got a small sample size of those things. And I almost got to go back to what Teja said is, hey, you trust the guys what's been working, right? The running game. Why not trust that? Okay. Why not make sure we hand the ball off to Pacheco or McKinnon? Okay. McKinnon got the ball last night. He started looking silky smooth, and everybody's like, there it is. That's what we've been waiting for. There's the McKinnon that we know, right? Yeah. Why not? How come we're not getting him involved? And so I think that warrants the conversation. I really do. And I think because of the Chiefs and the standard that we have, if we're not scoring touchdowns and it looks bad, we need to do more. That's the bottom line. We need to do more. And I think it starts up front, trusting running the football in the red zone to get the yards. I think we do good job running the ball. And sometimes we just need to just pound it in. I think sometimes just need some hard-nosed running. I would I would love for us to just do 4 downs of just running the football. Like the whole time. Don't even, you can play action or whatever you want to do. But I just want to just bare bones get in the 4-point stance, come out and hit people in the mouth. Okay.
Yeah. If KT gave on that one play where he kept it, we would have had a first down. Pacheco would have had a rep the gut.
Yeah, well, that play put in KT's hand for what?
There were a couple of times on second down where I was expecting pass, and I think the defense was too. We ran. I was like, whoa, I was not expecting a run there. Okay. So it caught me off guard. I'm like, okay, good. We're not the most obvious offense in the world as far as our play calling. That's good when we choose to run and pass. Mm-hmm. But why can't Ross be like our Jody Fortson? I mean, everyone knew the ball was probably going to go. If Fortson was in there on a red zone play, they pretty much knew what was going to come, right? But he's so big and talented in the red zone that sometimes you can make up for it. That's That's why the only reason I said the whole Ross thing earlier.
Well, we used to play Fortson in the field too. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give a guy a look. You have to. You got to get him warmed up, catch the football, run some routes. Warm his legs up. I think it's just it's important to do those things. Triple Trey says, let's not put this on Patrick. We're not putting it on Pat. Everybody's got blame to go around. Okay, and Patrick is not above criticism. He's not. Matter of fact, Patrick himself says, I need to play better. And he means it. He understands that, so we can't just be so beholden to Patrick when he's telling you he needs to get better on those things. And so, as somebody who's played in the NFL, we understand that this is a team game. We understand that. If Patrick knows he's not playing his best, he knows he needs to do a better job, getting wide receivers open, maybe throwing to him, then he needs to do that. Okay. And this is his own words. This is what he's saying. And so that's very important. It's very important that we understand that inside that room, they have a whole different type of standard on playing. Patrick being the best quarterback in the NFL, he understands that he's the one that's leading the charge. He's the one that facilitates the passes in this offense, and that's how it works. Everything works through him. So if those guys are not being productive, part of that goes into his wheelhouse, what he needs to do. So he understands that him and Travis are on the same page with a lot of things. He knows what they're going to do before he does it. He's got to get the young guys doing the same thing. So we need to understand that.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.